Dena, address the concern that many say that this actually hurts the political process.
You know, I want to go and speak to that for just a moment. Let's think about this. Every one of us learned in middle school that the Constitution protects free speech, specifically in the First Amendment. And in middle school, every single one of us learned that no state law can override our constitutionally guaranteed rights, including the freedom of speech. Now, knowing that we learned those two things in middle school, does anyone out there, does everyone agree with me that we learned those things? I think we all do. Does anyone then therefore believe that any state law can overwrite the Constitution? No. So how is it possible that the No on 10 campaign's commercial says, quote, when it comes to the First Amendment rights, it takes them away? Their commercial also goes on to say, makes free speech a crime. Now, if it's true that the Constitution of the United States guarantees free speech and no state law, no state ballot measure can overwrite the Constitution, then those two statements must be a flat-out blatant lie. And in fact, their campaign is based completely on a lie. And Mr. Owen, I want to do a quick little lie detector test for you right now. Is it true that the Constitution guarantees free speech?
States pass laws that are deemed unconstitutional every day, and Initiative 10 will be one of those that will be deemed unconstitutional.
But Initiative Measure 10 cannot overwrite the Constitution, is that correct?
That's why it's going to cost $1 million to defend it in court and then have it get tossed out because it is unconstitutional.
And
but it's
yet,
your attempt to do that.
And yet laws like this are in effect right now in 34 states across the country, and every single time it's been put into effect, it's been found constitutional. States like Connecticut, Hawaii, South Carolina, West Virginia, Vermont, Ohio, Kentucky. As a matter of fact, when Kentucky put in the pay-to-play contracting stuff, they saved $7 million just at the governor's level. $7 million. That could be going into better teacher pay, laptops for students, better roads. In fact, it is never true that any state law can overwrite the Constitution. Therefore, this is not unconstitutional. It is very constitutional. Your entire campaign is based on a lie, and we're challenging you to take those commercials down because there's no way any state law could ever, quote, make free speech a crime. I'm challenging you all in your living rooms tonight. Don't buy the lie.
Dave, your turn.
Thank you. There'll come a time as people who promoted this campaign are involved more in politics, they'll calm down their rhetoric a little bit. First of all, let's talk about whether they're taking away some right to free speech and what we mean. Public employees are almost completely gagged by this. The only way they can be involved in lobbying is as follows: in uncompensated personal capacity, undirected in any manner. Uncompensated means uncompensated. Doesn't mean a vacation day, it means uncompensated. They've created an exception so they can say they're living up to the First Amendment rights, but if the exception is one you can't use in a practical manner, it's almost worthless. Second, states on a regular basis pass laws that are unconstitutional. This one will be deemed unconstitutional, and that will cost some expense. Second, there isn't a state that in the union that they've been able to show us that has the definition of family, that stops families from contributing. This definition of family is so bizarre. They keep taking fragments of laws from other states and want to assure the voters, oh, this is being done in all other places, but no place has any state adopted this composite that results in disenfranchising, both talking to public officials and be involved in the election process, such a vast proportion of its population, not a single state.
Quickly.
Okay, first of all, public employees are excluded from government contracts, even when it's a labor bid contract, a collective bargaining contract. 10-2, I encourage you to go read the law. It is available on our website at www.cleanupsd.com. 10.2 exempts laws. Now I want to talk one other thing. The Securities and Exchange Commission prohibits bond underwriters and their families from making campaign contributions in states where they do business for 2 years. The U.S. Court of Appeals upheld this law as constitutional in Blount versus SEC. Another one of those lies. He said that we haven't come up with any examples where this definition of family is used. In fact, it's already in effect in every single state through federal law when it comes to bond writers. This is in effect as far as the pay-to-play contracting, this idea of because you gave me a campaign donation, now I'm going to give you a state contract. That's got to stop. That's already in effect in places like New Jersey, Connecticut, Hawaii, South Carolina, West Virginia, Vermont, and Ohio. I know that you're going to vote yes on 10 because we're sick and tired of our tax dollars being used as political pawns. And that's why you need to vote yes on 10, because this will be found constitutional because it's already in effect.
Let's go to the phones here real quick. Let's take a quick break from the action for a second and go to Linda. She's been holding the most patiently. Linda in Sioux Falls, you got a question for us?
Yes, I sure do, and thank you. And this question will be for Dena. And I am wondering, in a very simple language, what government contract is and how that would interface with this. I guess I don't know what a government contract is, and probably not the only one out there. So that would be great. Thank you, and I'll hang up and I'll listen then.
Okay, Dena, go.
Okay, I think that's an excellent question. Now, in this state, we've got 3 types of payments that the government makes. First is payment without contract. These are things like your snowplow breaks down in the middle of the night and you need to go buy some bolts and nuts to fix it. Somebody swipes a credit card. That's a payment without a contract, not touched by this law. The second type and the third type have to do with contracting. Now, nobody accidentally falls into a contract with the government. You're going to sit down and you're going to negotiate things out. You're going to know if you're signing a contract with the government, not just because somebody walked into your store, swiped the credit card, and bought some gas or some tires. The first type of government contract is a bid contract. This is where there's 5 or 6 providers in the state. And you look at it and you say, okay, 5 or 6 organizations out there, here's what we need. Tell us what you're going to do and how you're going to do it and how much you want to be paid to do it. And then the government takes a look at those bids and they decide which one to give that government contract to. That's a bid contract. What we're saying is the person that awards a bid contract should not be getting money back from the holder of that bid contract, and that's what this law does. That's already in federal law. Now, the other type of law is no bid contract. That's where even if there's 5 or 6 people out there, I just go up to one of them and I say, you know what, I'm only going to give this to you. I want to know how much you want to be paid to do this. And we sit down and we write it out. Now and it leaves everybody else out. Now, what happens when there's no competition because we left everybody else out of the bid process? They can raise their prices. And who pays that? You and I, the taxpayers, do, because the government doesn't have any money. It's our money, your money, that go to pay these contracts.
Okay.
Now,
Great. Dave?
They complain a lot about the no-bid contract laws, and they're doing absolutely nothing to change the no-bid contract laws. And in fact, hidden in their definition of no-bid contract laws, they describe the kind of contracts that our public school teachers, that our firefighters and many of our police officers work under, and by declaring that a no-bid contract, they have taken them out of every political race for the state and all of its subdivisions. So this, for them to use, this is typical of the vote yes tactics. They get you all excited over here, and then they're doing things over here. It's a magic act. They want you to sit over here where they have great sound bites. If the law did what the sound bites promise, this would be a good law. The law counters the sound bites. So while they're talking about no-bid contracts, they haven't changed that law, and they're using that as an excuse to strip away the right of political participation and the right of just advocacy to elected officials from folks that they disagree with.
there we go
Yep,
again.
hang on a second, please. We have 2 minutes left.
Okay.
Dave, you take the first minute.
Okay? Initiative 10.
Why should we vote no?
Right. Initiative 10 overreaches in its definition of family, overreaches in its definition of no bid contract. It will take small business owners, their families and employees, strip them out of the political process. It makes it almost impossible for people who know best what laws will do to talk to elected officials. It's a gag law. It deserves to be defeated.
Looks like he's going to give you an extra 15 seconds. Dena, can you use it?
Absolutely. Okay, first of all, I want to go back to this issue of the government contract. Let me read directly from the law. A government contract, blah, 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 greater than $500 includes the labor organization representing the unions, but not the individual employment contracts. And I've spoken with teachers who are union members, 2 of whom are voting no, 1 of whom is voting yes, and they agreed that yes, they did sign an individual organization. We need to vote yes because it is wrong for your tax dollars to be used by lobbying groups. We need you to vote yes because we need to stop pay-to-play contracting. When you vote yes on 10, we're actually going to save money because now these contracts are going to be opened up. The reason why we did it this way is because that's the way it's already done in other states. We're not reinventing the wheel. It is constitutional.
Okay.
We want to take away
One
conflicts of
sentence more.
interest, And that's why we want you to vote yes on 10.
Thank you, Dena. Our thanks to Dena Espenscheid with Vote Yes campaign on 10, and to David Owen with No on 10 committee. For more information on Initiated Measure 10, or to find the links to both organizations to get more depth into it if you need to, just go to our website, sdpb.org. While the majority of this year's ballot issues aren't as high profile as Initiated Measure 10 or 11, they are equally important.